Hey everybody, not sure if it's live yet. I am trying to get this set up and here we go. Okay, hello. Now it says it's for sure live. Sometimes it says it's live or not live and it is. So anyway, if you're watching the recording, please say hello. This is Dr. Danielle here with you. I'm from San Diego, California, and I'm a doctor of psychology and licensed clinical social worker, and I love essential oils. So what I do is talk about how we can use essential oils for the brain. Every week, I go live and do a brain talk on different subjects and on different essential oils that can really help you in your emotional wellness journey, for your mental health, and for everything related in the brain health world. So, yay, I can see a whole bunch of people joining. Please say hello. I'm going to have a great discussion on Immortelle. So, the first thing I would like to know is from those of you in the audience, as you say hello and where you're joining from, that's the first thing. Number two is this would be a good time to tag people or share this video into your group so we can dive into what Immortelle is and we can ask the questions live. As you know, when I'm live, I can get more answered for you. And then number three, who of you use Immortelle oil and how do you use it? How does it help you? I'd love to hear how you apply it and what it's helping you with. If you can type that in the chat box, and we'll come to those as we go into this discussion on Immortelle. So, first off, where did I put my bottle of Immortelle? Here it is. So, first off, this is a roller bottle. It's a 10 milliliter bottle. It is not diluted. It is fully of the essential oils in here, and it has frankincense, Hawaiian sandalwood, lavender, myrrh, helichrysum, and rose. Powerhouse of oils for the skin, but also the brain. And I know we talk a lot about Immortelle because it's even called an anti-aging blend. So this is really good for the skin, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. As you're joining, please tell me how you use Immortelle. So I'm going to go into a little bit of how it benefits not only the skin but the brain. These are kind of the questions like, well, how this is a secret one I feel like for the brain, but it's a powerhouse. So first off, frankincense regenerates cells, and that includes obviously skin cells, but also brain cells. Kind of cool. We have sandalwood, which has a lot of properties such as anti inflammatory, but it's also UV protectant. So you can see that would be great for the skin. Myrrh is very nourishing. This is the oil you use if you ever have chapped skin. So this is why it's nourishing. It helps lock in and seal moisture in the area, which is again why it's going to be good on skin. It's also anti-inflammatory. We have lavender, which calms the skin, soothes rashes and redness. So you're going to have something that's going to really treat appearance of skin. And then we have helichrysum. So this for skin is going to help again be UV protectant. I make my own little sunscreen and I put sandalwood and helichrysum. And if I remember right, I want to say it's almond oil that I put in there because it also has a heavy UV protectant, and that's what I spray on myself. So then we have the helichrysum helps regenerate tissue and including brain tissue and skin cells. I'm going to go more into brain, but I'm just kind of giving little tidbits here. It's also anti-inflammatory. And then lastly, rose we know is wonderful for skin. In fact, rose oil and frankincense, myrrh, these were used anciently by the Egyptians for their skin abilities to rejuvenate and for youthful looking skin. So these are great. So rose improves elasticity. I thought that was really cool. It soothes tissue to improve also imperfections, including scarring. So first I just wanted to go into what we are used to with Immortelle and how people use Immortelle. And I'll give you my own personal experience with using Immortelle on my skin. It has definitely changed my skin. And so for those of you, I'm excited to see what you're commenting about Immortelle. But I had chickenpox scars. How many of you guys, when you were young, were taken to a chickenpox party? I was. My family took me to chickenpox party because someone in the neighborhood had chickenpox, so we went and we got exposed. We got chickenpox, which wasn't fun, but it built up your immune system. That's how beautiful our immune system works, right? You get exposed to something and you build it up. So with that, I had scarring on my forehead because it itched so bad. And I had always had these scars. I had one on my nose and I had all over my forehead. Immortelle completely changed that for me. And this is from when I was, how old was I? I wanted 10 years old or something when I had chickenpox, and it literally reduced those chickenpox scars. Some of them are completely gone, and then I can't even you can't even see them. But on my forehead, there's like a very slight. You can see them very slightly. When before I had pretty big, and I used to have one on my nose. I can't even see that one anymore. Completely gone. So when I say that these oils regenerate tissue, it's true. And scarring. It's incredible. So anyway, that's a great one. That's how I love to use it for skin. But now let's dive into the brain. You're going to love this for the brain. This is really going to help you know why to use this around your brain points. So first off, for a good way to use the Immortelle for the brain is concussions and brain injury. And what you would do is if you had a concussion or a brain injury, you would put it as close to the spot as possible. So if your concussion was the forefront, you'd put it up there. If it was in the back, you'd put it in the back. If it's like in the center of your brain, then put it on the brain stem and the bottom of the foot on the big toe. Okay, and also inhaling, it's going to get it up there. So Immortelle for brain injury. And I'll share a little story. I had a guy several years ago that I helped him and his wife. He had brain surgery where they had to drill into his brain, and for months and months after, he was still not able to like stand up very long and walk. He could walk for maybe a couple minutes, and he would just have to sit because his brain just couldn't help, couldn't keep his equilibrium about him. And we started a blend. We started a regimen with using the Immortelle around the point where they drilled onto his head, which was like right on the center, and then also on the back of the neck, and just having him do that every 4 to 6 hours. And about 2 weeks in, his wife called me and she says, "This is unbelievable." She says, "We've been through all these therapies. He has not shown any improvement until we started using the Immortelle." And she said he was able to walk now about 20 minutes, and that was 2 weeks in. 20 minutes without falling over, feeling dizzy. And then about 2 months in, he was able to really function a lot better. So, if that gives you any indication of what the oils in Immortelle can do, I just think it's incredible to hear how it can repair those types of damages that have been done for us. So I highly recommend it for brain injuries and concussions. So the next category I want to talk about is emotions. So we have anxiousness, uplift mood, and I'm going to include memory in on this. These three, Immortelle has oils that help all of these. Now, one of the reasons is because we have lavender, which is a calmant, and then we have these heavy hitters that are anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. So, what do you think essential oils that reduce inflammation in the brain are going to do? They're going to help open up those pathways so that your brain can fire to reduce anxiousness and stress and uplift mood. So I think that's really important to understand that this is going to be, it's almost like kind of like we have probiotics, but we have also prebiotics. How do you prep the gut for the probiotic? I feel like Immortelle is like that prep. It's that prebiotic for the brain. And it's not a prebiotic by all means, it's nothing to do with that, but it has to do with prepping the brain with reducing inflammation, also with cell proliferation. So it helps with reducing cells that may not be functioning optimally. And so that's going to be good at cell regeneration. So if you can see how that's a precursor to a lot of things with mental health, that's a good reason to use this essential oil. And I actually love, even for mental health, I love to put it around the temples and around the eye sockets. And this is a double whammy because you get it around the wrinkle points. So I just use the roller for brain health, which for me, I'm really targeting, of course, healthy brain, but also memory and focus. And so I'll put the Immortelle right around these points. Can you see that that is good for wrinkles, but it's also really good to getting it into those temple points. Okay, so lastly, I just want to talk about using Immortelle for those with special needs, especially with kids. This is a great one for learning and learning processing, maybe difficulty with processing, sensory processing, autism, Down syndrome, Asperger's, which is now really just considered autism, it's a spectrum, dyslexia, other things where it's like the brain just has a little bit of difficulty with processing stimuli as well as input of information, so auditory processing. Because remember, I told you this is like the pre. to what is going on in the brain. And so this is going to reduce inflammation, help those cells act optimally so that it can function better. And I've actually have found that these do help with if you're having like difficulty, you're kind of feeling all over the place, especially with, I know kids with autism, their brain is functioning in different tangents. This can help hone it in. I'm going to share with you, let's see if oh yeah, processing trauma was the other thing I wrote on here. This is a great oil for helping with processing trauma because again, trauma just means the brain is in a hyperactive mode. And I want to actually, before I join the, or share this, so let's talk about healthy brain cell activity. What does that mean? That sounds cool, but what is the real significance of that? So I'm just going to go into a little review on about what brain cell activity. There's about 100 billion neurons in our brain, and they provide functions such as communication. They carry nutrients as well, chemical messages, and healing if there's a concussion. The neurons process electrical to chemical signals, and healthy brain cell activity is tied to your brain's ability to function with thinking and your memory, focus, moving as well, and then your fight off inflammation and disease. So when I say that Immortelle is going to help with healthy brain cell activity, right? Those are the key factors to everything, everything functioning in our brain. And that's why I feel like this is such a hidden gem for brain health. Again, it's going to help with thinking, processing, memory, trauma, focus, moving, and fight off that inflammation. So those cells are really important. And that's why this oil is great. And even if you don't have like a major concern, I still recommend, like I said, I just put it here so I know it gets in my brain because of the temples, but also I'm getting it for health on my eyes. And then back of the brainstem, bottom of the big toe, and then you can also just inhale it. It just has a beautiful scent. I really like it. So I want to share actually a story with you. And let's see, I asked her to join. I'm sharing a story. Oh, I see you. I see you. Where did it go? Delaney, and I just wanted to pronounce your last name, so I was trying to look for you over here in the comments. So I asked Delaney. Oh, there it is. Pete. Hi, Pete. Peterus. So I hope I said that right. I probably did not. And she's from South Africa. And she shared a story about her daughter with autism. So I asked her if it was okay. And she said yes, because she's been using Immortelle on her daughter. And so this is really powerful. I'm excited to share this with you guys. And I want to look at also what you're using it for. So Delaney, I've got it written down here, but you had said that about a year, I felt like this was really important. She said a year ago, she felt like her daughter and her functioning with autism was at her worst, and she was just feeling as a mother that she couldn't carry on any longer, and she had no idea that essential oils were on the way to help her out with this because it was just getting worse and worse. Her daughter has autism, but also has issues with sensory. So socks really bother her senses, and she has a hard time wearing socks. So she just consistently was combative, as well as non-compliant with her mother on all sorts of things, not only socks, but again, this spills out to irritation with the skin, spills out to irritation with all sorts of facets in your life, including just feeling the emotion of anger and projecting all sorts of arguments and difficulty. And so that's kind of what, just giving the context of what Delaney was going through with her daughter. So she started using Immortelle, and what she noticed, and I've actually heard stories like this before, so it's kind of cool. She noticed that so before she wouldn't wear socks, and the socks would really itch her skin and bother her. But all of a sudden, after using Immortelle, I don't know how long you started using it, Delaney. Maybe you can type in how you used it on her and how long. But she said that she started wearing her socks. She also noticed she stopped complaining about her undergarments on her skin, and just was able to, like, this sensory issue all of a sudden was able to decrease. And so imagine if you can decrease these sensory issues, how that's going to help with your behavior and your mood and your emotions. It's incredible. So she said she also then saw a shift in her behavior, so that her behavior was more compliant versus defiant, and she was responding with love versus anger. She used to not even clean up after herself, and then she started cleaning up after herself. Just little things started shifting that her brain was so on heightened mode and couldn't process what was the sensory stuff that just kind of caused havoc in the rest of her life, it sounds like. And so the Immortelle really helped that sensory processing get back into order. So I just felt like that story was such a good one to share with you guys so you can understand the power of Immortelle. Even if you don't have something major going on, it's something I use daily on my skin, on my face anyway. And I know that that helps brain power, memory power, thinking, processing. You're going to love this essential oil. So I would love to see again how you guys are using it. I'm going to look in the chat box now with you. But thank you for joining this Brain Talk. And if you're new to this page, please comment and tell me that you're new, and welcome. And we do these every single Tuesday. So excited to continue to connect with you. I just wanted to kind of end there, but I also want to look at what everybody's saying. So let's see. Michelle says, oh, it helped with your vision. Yeah, that's another great benefit that I like it around my eye sockets for the vision. Thank you for bringing that up. Susie says wrinkles and for wounds and for calming. Yes, good for jawline, blood pressure. That's great. Skin marks. Yes. Bug bite reactions. Absolutely. In fact, just you reminded me, put on the brainstem for a bump on their head. So I got a bump on my leg. I was shutting my door and because of the hill I was on, it caused my door to force into my shin. And luckily I had Immortelle. It's my emergency oil. I carry this everywhere for any emergency. It's not just for skincare. It's incredible. So I actually put the Immortelle on this goose egg that all of a sudden formed on my leg. And immediately, about 10 minutes in, it stopped aching. In about an hour, it had completely stopped hurting. And I just continued to apply it because it was this big goose egg. And the next day, it was completely gone. If you've ever had a goose egg, you know they do not go away that fast. Not without help, like with this Immortelle. So wonderful. I'm loving seeing what you guys are using the Immortelle for concussion syndrome, forehead scars, yes, for brain support, for your face and chest. Yeah, this is a good area. Eye sockets for vision. Oh, Donna, you use it for deodorant. That's amazing. So someone asked, I used it for glaucoma, but ended up getting migraines. If you're maybe, I don't know why you'd have migraines, but maybe you could put it on the brainstem. That would be a good place to put it. Our brains sometimes are very sensitive, huh? Brown age spots, yep, aging spots. These are wonderful. Love seeing everything that you guys are posting on here. All right, well, wonderful to see you guys. Thanks for being on. And again, if you want more information on brain health, you can go to brainessentials.com, and we will see you next week on the Brain Talk Tuesday. Have a good day. Bye-bye.